any 12-year-old to 90-year-old, they're gonna see you. It's almost like they have radar antennas. They're going through a lot themselves. They've been bullied at home, maybe. They, going through puberties. They're going through high challenges. So they're trying to look for anyone around them that they can bully. And so you're going to be the target. So that's why a lot of poor homeless have been getting beat up, sometimes killed, sometimes laughed out, humiliated, because they're the perfect target for those people. Because they're weak, they're on the floor, they're sad, and they don't know how to fight back. And, a lot of them don't know how to speak. So it's really sad to see. If you see poor homeless getting beat up, trying to do something. I've seen that once, and it really, really saddened me to see it. Once or twice, actually. And I actually did call the cops. I saw some teens trying to beat him up. And I always do something when I see something like this. It's terrible. You can't, you just have to speak up. Even in my worst times, my whole life, there was one thing that was not right. I will do something about it. You just have to. I mean, you don't want to get involved in things all the time, but sometimes you just have to. So, the weirdest thing about the situation of the homeless, like let's say you see a guy is laying down near a fountain in the park. He looks all red. He's got a bottle of wine next to him, but he doesn't look like really scary. And just wondering how long he's been there, what he's doing all day. You don't really think much. Some of them, they just aggressive. They come to you directly asking for money. Or they seem to be upset. Or they always just go, God bless you. They don't seem to be really grateful to when you try to help them. So some of them look like, scary and and not very friendly and wow. Wow, I don't know, what should I help you? But they're not all bad, and there could be a reason why they're acting this way. And they really don't have that many time during the day where they actually feel good, or they get to rest, they get to feel better. So we do have to, take that in consideration. Now, some of them are really people who abuse other people, are predators, and that's why they belong there. They abuse animals, they abuse kids, they abuse people, sexually, physically, mentally. So, or they just escape jail, or they, have restraining order against them, or they just committed a lot of crimes, and that's what they're on the street. It's usually easy to see this type because they're the type who act like they're not actually homeless, and they try to overly be kind, and they actually sometimes have no problem starting conversation if they know that they can get something from you, or they can, steal from you. So I think the ones that are very quiet and don't talk much are probably the one who actually have the sweet ones. So, there's still a few nice ones out there. But I think the eye-opening for me is when I thought back about all this time that I looked at so many homeless, always either sitting or sleeping on a bench or near a fountain, or just, pushing a cart or just drinking a bottle. I saw them they were just a piece of painting, like on the wall. Like they were just decoration. They were just a little piece of a puzzle of a, human world and all its humans. Like there was a place for everybody and they were just part of it. They were just there. You just kind of like a big tapestry. Like there's the housekeeper there, you have a homeless there, you have you have a teacher, you have a bus driver, you have a plumber, you have all of these different, people playing those roles. And there's the homeless guy, and that's it. There's nothing more to it. So I remember always looking at it the same way, like they're there, that's their story, that's their spot, and that's it. I never really saw them as a person. Even though I spent a lot of time trying to cheer them up and help them, give them some change, and try to know some of the story, but I still just didn't really understood or knew what they were going through. And I had no idea. Little than I knew, I had no idea what kind of mental struggle they were going through. And that's just for anyone who's going into that kind of deep, dark place in life, not just the homeless. They really losing everything. It's just impossible for them to communicate, and knowing what it feels like, I can't describe it. I can't imagine someone's going through it right now, and if anyone knows, anybody's going through it and they think that they could learn from listening to this, or from just having a chat with me, or just getting a session with me, maybe I could help them, then let them know. Or if you want to talk to me, I'm here. I'm always here to help people. And because I know what it's like. I have become a mute for almost 2 years in the past. I had no one to talk for a lot of years. I was in almost complete isolation. I had and I even, when I thought it was worse, it wasn't. But then a few years later, I remember living through dream sequences, sometimes not remembering if it was reality, if my dream was part of something I experienced that day, or maybe last week. I wasn't entirely sure. Sometimes my dreams were so good that I wanted to go back and dream because they were sometimes better than my days. And then at the end, you really can't have days without either suffering or having to drink, or you just can't seem to have those days where you can just breathe and not feeling the pain, and just be able to go to sleep and say, can I just have a few days without, and where I can laugh and be happy and be at peace without feeling like a lot of pain all the time, feeling miserable, or feeling like you're gonna cry for hours. Like, that's how those people are feeling. So believe me, I know, because I went through all this. And when you're losing touch with reality, it's very frightening, and you also lose pieces of your mind, and you have to reconstruct little by little, because substance abuse can really destroy your brain. Plain and simple, it does that. And sometimes there's nobody to pick up the pieces for you, nobody to rebuild your brain. So, and you just don't have the fundings, and you don't have the capacity to reach out, simply. And that's that's for a lot of millions and millions of people out there. So that's why a lot of doctors and life coaches who just knew, or a lot of people who wants to help, they have no idea what they're dealing with. they're like, hey, I don't understand, they don't reach out, and you gotta reach out. I was saying that in a few episodes prior. I said, you gotta reach out, you gotta do the work. Yes, I'm trying to push the people who need the help to reach out, to get the help, right? But I also know that there's people who just want to, but they just don't know how. So it's hard. It's hard because they really just don't know how to reach, because they lose. It's hard. They just don't know how to communicate their need, and they they battle. They have a lot of scar in them. They just don't have any more self-esteem. And when they don't, then it's hard to have a conversation with just one human being or two, somebody you don't know, basically. And it's hard to admit, but I've been there. I just can't believe me, who used to talk to hundreds of people, who could not talk to one person at a time or a day. Maybe I'll talk to one person in a month, or maybe two. So there comes a time when someone has gone through so much pain, they just, shut down. They just not open to reach out anymore. And that's what a lot of new therapists or life coach out there needs to understand. A sample phone call or just a quick session is not easy for them, because it's possible that they haven't spoke to anyone in years, maybe beside their closest family member, but it's possible. Some of them haven't spoken to anybody outside their family in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So you have to be considerate of that. But it's not a lost cause. It's not a lost cause for a lot of people who have survived that, who have come out of it and come out of it stronger. Here's another example. I've seen a lot of success story, so it's good to know there is success story, and a lot of success story are from people who have helped those people to turn their life around. Some of them came out by themselves, and others, they needed that helping hand that changed their life, or opened their doors to new opportunities and allow them to live these lives of suffering, this life of misery. Nobody wants to live in misery. So when I finally reached this, I was able to say, wow, what a change. I had no idea that this is what they were actually going through. Now I know. So for all those people who don't know, don't be quick to judge, and just, maybe one day you're on the verge, so be careful and just be aware and just be more compassionate, and also, maybe help any way you can. All right, so that's gonna do it for today, and I'll see you next time on Vanessa's podcast.